Hello everyone, it's Jay, and today we're going to talk about what really broke on my car and how I struggled with the dealership to even get it fixed in the first place. So if you happen to like my content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think, and let's get started. This video isn't really about trashing dealerships in general because I really don't want to face any legal troubles. For the most part, I want to educate dealerships on how to handle customers to make the experiences a little bit better, because the experience that I had was somewhat difficult in order to get this problem fixed. And at the same time, this is a brand new vehicle and it really shouldn't have any problems to begin with. So let's talk about what broke. So again, this video isn't really to bash the dealership, but it's more or less to provide a better customer experience going down the road. Now, what really broke on this car is the evap solenoid. I would say on most turboed vehicles or most boosted vehicles, this tends to go out quite often. I had it happen in my Pontiac Solstice, and in my Pontiac Solstice, the evap always went out about 30,000 miles or so. But in this car, with it being brand new and it only having close to 8,000 miles whenever it started having the issue, it really shouldn't have been an issue in the first place. This is the evap purge valve solenoid that pretty much went out. This is what really caused my whole problem with fuel management and it saying that there was a code. And so the only way to fix this problem was to get it replaced. Now, if you don't know, most new cars have a 3-year warranty or 36,000 mile warranty, because it's a brand new vehicle and most parts should not break. So yes, my brand new EcoBoost premium Mustang did actually break, but the part wasn't as exaggerated as I make it out to be. So what can the dealerships offer for a better customer experience? See, I live in a little town where there is no major highway to come through it. So the majority of the dealerships here do not have any competitors, and thus they can get away with extra things. And the things that I want to discuss is just customer service and how we can improve it in this town to be better, so that way every dealership has a better understanding of its customers and they value their customers a little bit more. See, originally this car had an oil change coming up, so I had set up a online service to have the oil change done. But whenever I had completed that service, the check engine light came on that week. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the car and how I could fix it. That brought my attention to that it was under warranty, so I really didn't want to mess with the vehicle all that much. But with the car being under warranty, that means that I really can't fix the issue without the dealership being involved. And with most dealerships in this town, they tend to say the customer is wrong with the issue. And in my opinion, I think that if it comes to vehicles and means of transportation, then I think that this should be looked at or addressed as soon as possible. Now, there are waiting lists at dealerships. However, it seems to be a little bit exaggerated in the sense of there's not that many customers waiting. And how do I know this? My experience with the dealership that we have here locally is I had the oil change done. I had mentioned that there was a service engine light on and if it could be addressed as soon as possible. The person that I had communicated with said no, it would be another 2 weeks because of the waiting list. How is that possible? Well, this dealership had mentioned that there are just so many customers that they can't get to at the moment and that I would be put on a waiting list to have it done. So I had asked, well, okay, so you're going to send the car off with a service engine light, and the person in communication said yes. So they were going to send me on my way with a service engine light and the car basically trying to catch its breath. Does that mean the problem was ever fixed? Yes, the problem was fixed, obviously, because I don't have a service engine light on anymore. But the only way to get to that point was to have the oil change done, have the car received back in my hands, and fill out a survey whenever they emailed me a survey and provide really bad ratings towards that survey. Now, that shouldn't really be a focal point or a business practice to pursue if you want jobs to be done on your vehicle at the dealership, especially warranty work. But a few days after I had sent in that bad customer survey or bad review, they contacted me and they asked why I gave a bad survey and why I gave a bad review. And I I had mentioned that it's because my problem wasn't addressed. My car still had a service engine light and it was not addressed at all. So they scheduled me for a service to be done. And instead of 2 weeks, my car was repaired in a week. So what really happened was they scheduled me in. After a week's time, I brought my vehicle in and I had the service done. And in 2 days' time, I got my car back. Instead of it taking 2 weeks, it took a week. See, but in my point of view, should I have really dropped a bad survey review in order to get the correct service done? Or should I have just left it alone and did it myself? Well, therein line is the bigger issue. The fact that it's a brand new car, it is under warranty, so I had to let the dealership touch it. But in order to let the dealership touch it, I had to weasel my way through the customer survey in order to get it done. So in order to provide the customers with better service, do they really have to fill out these customer surveys or fill out any of these customer reviews to get better service? Like I said, this town is pretty small and there is no major highways to come through here, so there's not very many competitors in order to provide better service. It's not just the dealership that I went to that had this issue. It's the majority of the dealerships in this town that have this issue with customer service and providing a better experience. So again, the only way that I could actually get the work done was to fill out a bad customer survey, and then I got the work done as quickly as possible. Now, there are a few things in the middle of that story that I haven't mentioned yet. Like, I did go to my salesman that sold me the car, and he said that they can't really do anything because there's a long line. So in order for me to really get this done, in order for me to really have my car fixed, was to fill out a bad customer survey, which really shouldn't be a business practice altogether. Whenever I had been contacted a few days after I filled out the bad customer survey, the person in contact or the person in communication had mentioned that this affects his paycheck and that this also affects how the management sees him. And that really should not be a thing inside of customer service as well. See, the person is only abiding by what the higher ups are saying. And so why should they be knocked down? This will be the end of my video, guys. This video isn't to have some legality battles with dealerships. It's only to address the customer service part of it. And yes, my car did break at 8,000 miles. Today, I want to talk about what broke on my Mustang at 23,000 miles. She is a bit dirty because it's just been raining here a lot in Texas, but let's get into what actually broke on it. For a few weeks, I had noticed a few stains on my driveway and I was like, I really want to know what this is. And from being a car person and constantly modifying cars, I was like, great, I have an oil leak somewhere. But after I investigated the leak, I happened to notice that the differential in the rear end was leaking. So I already had an oil change coming up anyways, and I was just gonna have the differential looked at during the oil change. Now, I have to take my car out of town to get an oil change because I can't trust our local dealerships. So what do I mean by that? Most warranty work that I try to get covered under this car isn't covered under the local dealership that I have, so I usually have to take it outside of town. So I got the oil change done and I also had them check out the differential, and I set up an appointment to have the differential fixed. And it was going to take at least 2 weeks for that to actually happen, to go with my schedule of work and music, but also to go with the schedule of the maintenance. Now, there's something that's really kind of upsetting me about this, and it's the fact that I actually had to go out of town, and I have to go out of town to get warranty work done. Whenever I was told that it was going to be 2 weeks because of a scheduling conflict, I called to my local dealer and I had asked them if this was going to be covered under warranty and if I could get a loaner. And the differential work that needed to be done was not going to be covered under warranty, but the dealership outside of town was going to cover it under warranty. So that is where I'm a little bit upset. So the service comes up to have the differential looked at, and on May 3rd, I took it in and they gave me a call later that day and said, hey, this is actually going to be a really big repair. The seals have gone out in the rear differential and all of the rear end has to be taken apart. I had already had plans to use one of my parents' vehicles because this dealership did not offer loaners due to insurance purposes. So I had waited a week and I finally got my car back on Thursday. Now, keep in mind, the whole reason for me to have to take this car out of town was to have the warranty work done on the differential. Mainly because my local dealership wouldn't really cover it, which is kind of annoying. And on top of that, the seal on the differential should have never gone out at 23,000 miles. So let's talk about what has been taken apart and put back together. Removed left and right hubs, removed knuckles and half shafts, removed the whole rear diff from the vehicle, and pretty much everything was reinstalled. So what does that mean to the vehicle? It means that pretty much all of this rear end right here, all of these suspension components were taken out and the whole diff had to be taken apart in order to be fixed, and the seal could be replaced. Now, some people will say it's because I was being rough with it, and I've had some fun with it, but the majority of my commute with this car is to work and home. So there is no big reason as to why the seal went out on the differential, other than that this car was made during the pandemic. This car was manufactured in 2021 and sold in the lot on 2022. How many other vehicles are affected by this pandemic issue? And I wonder how many other parts are going to break on my car now, because it is a 2022 year model. Now, I did do a review video in 2022 whenever I first got the car, and most people were like, why didn't you wait until the 2024 model comes out in 2023? Well, it's because it was a steal. It was a good deal at the time. This car was sitting at $35,000 and it had all the premium specs that I wanted. On top of that, the S550s are probably gonna go down in price because the S650s are selling like hotcakes. All right, so let's talk about something for a second. The differential should have never went out at 23,000 miles, but it did. And like I said, it's probably due to the fact that this car was built during the pandemic. Luckily, I got everything covered under warranty, but I had to take it out of town in order for this to happen. And that just really shouldn't be a thing. I'm kind of upset about that, just because local dealerships in my hometown are really refusing to do warranty work. And it's not just the local Ford dealership, it's all of them are doing this warranty, I'm not going to cover it type situations. And one prime example of this would be my mom, of all people. They really didn't want to cover the warranty work that needed to be done on a trunk on her Palisade, but luckily she fought for it and fought for it and fought for it, and she finally got somewhere with these people. And that is similar to my situation on this Mustang. A year ago, I had to have warranty work done on the fuel system, aka the evap solenoid. I had to fight tooth and nail in order to get the warranty work done. You know, I have to go as far as to say that I had to leave a bad review on their survey in order to actually push it through to get it done. And this is a similar situation to this. If I would have left a bad review on them trying to take my differential and look at it, then I probably would have got the work done a lot sooner than 2 weeks. So my car broke for the third time, and let's freaking talk about it, dude. Hello everyone, it's Jay, and today we're gonna talk about my experience with my third break on my 2022 Mustang. This car now has 26,000 miles, and what has been broken on this car should have never happened in the first place, but I'm here to talk about it. Today is a relatively rainy day, so what we're gonna do is drive around and discuss my opinions on how this could have all been avoided. Number one, I bought this car during the pandemic, and I have stated throughout 2 of my videos about it being repaired that that is a main factor of everything. Number 2 is poor customer service. Anytime that I needed service, I had a struggle getting it done, especially under a warranty. For anybody who knows, whenever you buy a new car, it has a 36,000 mile warranty. I struggled really hard with my local dealership to get anything done, and even to give me a loaner at that. The first major problem was the evap solenoid. Those typically go out quite often, but not as often as my car did, because it went out around 10,000 miles, and it was causing a lot of codes, especially with fuel. If you ever have problems with fuel and you think, oh, it's my fuel filter or it's my fuel tank or anything like that, always look at the evap, because the majority of the time it is that $50 part. The second problem that I had was the differential. I noticed that my differential was leaking around February and March of this year, and I let it kind of do its thing for a minute before I took it in, and around May I decided to take it in to get it done. Whenever I took it in, I didn't take it into my local dealership, mainly because my local dealership would not cover it. They told me that it was not under warranty, that a lot of it was my fault. For them to make the bold claim that I would have to drop like $150 to even have it looked at, which is like basically the norm for any dealership, and then claim that I was at fault here and that it was my fault that the seals on the inside of the differential decided to go out, is a pretty bold claim at that. I use this car on the daily, as in going to work and going home or grocery shopping or anything like that. On top of that, it's an EcoBoost. It's not a 5.0 where I can sit here and just destroy the whole thing. Whenever you have a warranty that is presented to you on a brand new car at 36,000 miles, everything, literally everything should be covered, and customer service should not really throw hardballs at you. If I had a soccer mom car like a Ford Explorer, for an example, and that same thing happened to the transmission on the inside, would I be looked at as, oh, I'm the one that destroyed it? Or would I be looked at, oh, well, let me help you out with that? And the reason why I'm saying that is because the Mustang is a sports car, or a budget sports car. So with that being said, I literally had to go out of town to have the differential work done under warranty, which really wasn't that far away. Around May, I get my car back and I make a video about it. One thing that I didn't bring up in that video was right after I made it, the differential was freaking leaking again. And so I was like, well, maybe it's the norm, you know? Maybe they overfilled it. Maybe it just needs to leak some of it out. As time went on, it was still leaking. Me and my buddy put it up on a jack and we looked at it, and we noticed that it was leaking in between where the diff meets the drive shaft, drive line, or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't going to stop until I called in again and said, hey, the diff is still leaking yet again. I let them know that the diff is still leaking, and they're like, okay, well, when can you come in to set an appointment and drop it off? What had happened the first time of me getting the diff fixed is they wouldn't give me a loaner, so I had to have my dad's truck for about a week in order for them to fix it. This time around, I wanted to ask them, would they be willing to give me a loaner, because they should have fixed the problem in the first place. After doing a whole bunch of negotiating on the phone, they were like, okay, our loaner is out at least 2 weeks. I'll give you a call back whenever it's ready. And I was like, great, awesome. I mean, I still got a leaking diff, but I'll have my car repaired within 2 weeks. No biggie, no big problem. 2 weeks go by and I have no call, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to pay out of pocket because I'm having so much trouble with customer service. A month and a half go by and I noticed that my tires look like crap. They are in really rough shape. During that month and a half, the diff had still been leaking, and I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to get a new set of tires and drive it outside of town to actually go up in person and address the problem. So I got a set from Discount Tire, and I drove my happy butt all the way to Sweetwater to have the differential addressed yet again. Once I get to Sweetwater, I am kind of upset because I was never called. I was never notified that the loaner was going to be ready. I'm not just being a Kyle or a Karen about the situation. It is a big issue. It's a powertrain issue. But the fact that it was going to be under warranty and the fact that I was trying to get a loaner really played a big part into it taking almost 2 months to be addressed properly. Luckily, the customer service representative really did come through and said, hey, everything was on me. I'm so sorry that I did not give you a call back. I have your number right here on everything, and I'm really, really sorry. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and clean up another loaner that we have on lot, and we're gonna give it to you. I was like, great, awesome. You know, great customer service. This makes me want to come back. That is the whole thing. I want to come back. Within a week's time, my car was repaired finally, and there are no more leaks in the differential. With the quality of products and the quality of customer service in general, it's lacking. And I don't think it has anything to do with the workers inside the plants. So why have I made a 3-part video on this topic? Mainly because I want to address the lack of customer service within getting your car repaired under warranty. The only way that people ever touch your car these days is if you spend a whole lot of cash, and to some people, they don't have that. I also want to showcase my journey with this car. I was super excited to get a brand new car. I have always got secondhand vehicles or used vehicles. This was my first experience with a brand new car, and it is no different from having a used car at this point. This video could reach somebody in corporate and they see that there is an issue within quality and they address it and they make it better for the consumer. Then I'm happy that the 3-part series that I've done on this car so far has made an improvement within quality. I'm not here just griping and complaining. I'm here in hopes that everything gets better with time. With that being said, if you happen to like my content or anything that I put out, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you think, and I'm out.